All right, we're back. Welcome everybody to episode 4 of Grappling Monthly. I'm super excited to be joined this time by Professors Ariel and Vitor, owners and founders of Legacy Malibu. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for inviting yourself.
I invited myself to your beautiful location, which we'll get.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. We'll get a chance to talk about this location and the schedule and all that, as well as classes. But very excited to get to know you guys a little bit better. And as always, if you like the content that we're putting out, please like and subscribe. Anything helps on our socials, YouTube, to keep us going and get more jiu-jitsu stories. So without any further ado, let's get started. Let's get into it. So, professors, Ariel, starting with you, tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you come across jiu-jitsu for the first time?
Well, I started, I'm not exactly sure when, but I started about 10 years ago. I was bored out of my mind. I was in LA. My wife was in New York, and I was by myself. And I was like, you know what? I was watching all the UFCs and stuff, and it was like, oh, I love jiu-jitsu. I've been following UFC for so long, even to the era of Hoist, arm barring everybody and choking everybody. So I was always interested in jiu-jitsu. I knew about jiu-jitsu, but I never really done it. So I started one morning, it was a 7 a.m. class. It was a 7 a.m. class, and it was in Hollywood at the old gym called Clube, which is now moved to West Adams, right? It's under Mark Bradford, and that's how I started jiu-jitsu. And I got hooked. I got completely hooked. I was doing 2-3 a day every day.
Nice.
And I was training Muay Thai also at the same time. I completely stopped training Muay Thai, and I just jiu-jitsu all day, every day. I stopped going to work, jiu-jitsu. I stopped everything for jiu-jitsu. So that's how I got into jiu-jitsu. And 6 months, maybe a year after that, that's when I met this guy.
Nice.
Just came from Brazil into the gym. I actually came back from vacation and I was like, oh, who's this Brazilian dude? And it's like, oh, it's Vitor, he's really good. And that's how I met him.
Nice. Right on. Vitor, so you actually are Brazilian, right?
Yes.
You put the Brazilian in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Very much Brazilian.
So, how did the jiu-jitsu start for you? How did you learn about it? When did you start?
I didn't really think about jiu-jitsu at all before I started because I was just a kid, 13 years old, playing with toys still, playing soccer and stuff like that. And then...
Good thing you stopped.
Yeah. Then my stepdad is also a black belt. And yeah, I would go to vacation with my mom because my mom and my dad split up. And I used to live in Salvador. Mm-hmm. And then when I would visit my mom on vacation, then I would train over there with him. My first ever class was in 2007. I was 13. But I didn't really like it as much. It was complicated just for a kid. Mm-hmm. And training with adults and everyone's better than me. I didn't like getting beat up. So I just kept doing soccer, but I wanted to train some martial art. So when I went back to Salvador, when I was 14, my dad finally allowed me to start martial art. All my friends were doing Muay Thai, and then I decided to train Muay Thai, and I really got hooked right away. But then every time I would go visit my mom, I would train some jiu-jitsu. And every time I would train for a month, I would start getting kind of good, understanding a little bit, and then a whole year would go by. I would go back and train Muay Thai. Mm-hmm. And I did that until I was 17. When I was 17, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like jiu-jitsu. When I go back home, I want to start doing it. And I started, and 9 months I got my blue belt. And then 6 years later, I got my purple. Okay. But during that transition from the blue belt, many things started happening. And then that's when I moved to the US in 2016. So I was training from 2012 all the way to 2016 when I moved to the US. And I was training with Victor Silverio over there. Yeah. He was GF and then he moved to LA, right? That's when I moved to LA in 2017. And then I met this guy. I joined Professor Mark's gym. Nice. And then I just kept doing it. That's around the time when I decided to do jiu-jitsu as something, make a living out of it. And that's just what I like to do. And I just was hooked, like from the very beginning. I wanted to do martial arts as something like that I would keep doing my whole life.
Beautiful.
So here we are today.
Yeah.
13 years later.
Nice.
And we're going to touch on, everything from opening the school and basically how it's been from the moment, kind of making up your mind that you want to open a school. But before that, I'm just curious, like, if you had to compare, like, because you had, experience of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu scene in Brazil versus when you came here, like, was it like, oh man, this is kind of the same vibe, or was it really different for you?
It was different because in Brazil, everything was more old school and more rustic, I would say.
Okay.
So the training, everything was like harder and like to make it tough. When I came here, everyone had like a more soft vibe. I don't know if it was more because of the business side of it.
Okay.
Everyone in the US maybe like is into suing people, stuff like that.
Okay.
So you can't really be too hard on your students like that, right? In Brazil, people don't even think, oh, I'm gonna sue you because you hurt my arm.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really have that mindset. So over there, I'm very used to like my coach, man. Are you stupid? How many times you have to do it? 10 more. And then you say something stupid in class. All right, 10 push-ups.
Yeah.
All right, 20 push-ups. You complaining? 30 push-ups. You know? And then going from that Brazilian mindset to here, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And it's just different, right? Now even Brazil is becoming more business oriented, like everyone's kind of evolving their mindset.
Yeah.
And because people don't really want to be like just punched down, and not everyone has that mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna prove myself.
Yeah.
You know, some people just want to do jiu-jitsu to like get fit, maybe meet some people. So the different ideas, the different purposes of doing jiu-jitsu, that kind of accommodates that, and I like that.
Nice.
Some people just don't want to do jiu-jitsu like for different reasons, and I like that very much.
One of my favorite things is that I don't get punched in the face.
Yes.
It's not getting any prettier.
Yeah.
As I get older, right? So Ariel, for you, right? I know that you like you have a competitive side. You competed.
Yes. And so going back on what he was saying, I feel like when we were training back in the day, we were going so hard. Like at Clube back in the day, we were like murdering each other every single night because most of us were competing. And nowadays, it depends. I can have many views on this, but you need to take care of your body, and I don't think in the long run, going hard like that, you need to be smarter about your training. I'm glad we went hard back in the day, but today it's more about like protecting myself, protecting my students, and there's hobbyists that want to do jiu-jitsu for fun, and I believe if we have people here who want to go hard and train and for competition, we have like something special for those guys. But, for the main majority of people that want to train, I want them to enjoy themselves, have fun, and don't put too much pressure. It's especially here in Malibu, we're in a community that is super nice, super outgoing. They're surfing and they don't want to get hurt. And, I still feel like it's really good for them to learn jiu-jitsu as a self-defense mechanism. They can defend themselves and, but, I kind of miss the hard times also, like right now my knees are wrecked and stuff like that. But, I miss those days where we're training hard and the porrada times, you remember porrada, Nutella and all that stuff. We're like, oh, you don't train, oh, you Nutella, oh, and we were going super hard back in the day. But I feel if I had to do it over again, I will train as intense, but more rest, for sure, more rest for our bodies, to recover and, so that's how I feel about that.
Nice.
What was the question again?
No, that's basically it. I was trying to also get your take on your experience. Because did you know, when you started training here in Los Angeles, that it was kind of like the second Brazil, like because LA is like a mecca, right? Like now
Yeah,
there's, now there's
definitely.
a lot of
Everybody's
other-
here.
Yeah.
Everybody's here. There's three types of school. There's like competition school, like you can name them like AOJ, Atos, and stuff like that, where they have world champion, and you know, like they're on the top of the jiu-jitsu scene where they need those hard rounds, they need these training, right? And there's schools that are more, I feel like us today, that are trying to bring jiu-jitsu to a community, and we're not world champions, or we're not claiming to be. We're just trying to share this passion that we have and enjoy jiu-jitsu with everybody, you know? And, but if it comes to it and somebody's like really good, and, you know, like we will make the necessary adjustments, like to bring or try to bring that person like to do the competitions, because we have experience doing so.
Yeah.
And especially you've competed a lot. I competed a little less because I was getting older. I started jiu-jitsu when I was 30.
Nice.
And I'm approaching on 40. It's kind of, and yeah, kind of lost the point, but.
Crimea River approaching 40. I remember what that feels like.
How old are you?
43.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're good. But,
We're good. You don't look 40 yet.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So I got.
You look
hold
40
on.
though.
Bald.
Yeah.
Being bald doesn't look
Thank you.
good.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. This is a paid advertisement by Legacy Malibu.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
So, you know, as far as like jiu-jitsu scenes are concerned, like especially when you guys started, outside of Brazil, this was probably one of the main places, right? Like I know there's the Green Garage that started the whole thing, right, with the Gracies. But then it just seems like between Los Angeles and San Diego, there's so much concentration of jiu-jitsu, right, in Southern California. Did you have any like back in those days, did you interact with other schools? Did you cross train, or did you have like maybe rivals when you saw them at the competition? It was like, okay, I'm going to beat this guy because he beat me last time.
You're going to have two different answers here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's okay.
You start.
Yeah, since I started more like younger, and I wanted to be a fighter in this whole thing. I wanted to be an MMA fighter. Eventually, I wanted to be a black belt world champion, the adult division, all that whole thing. But when I decided to actually want to do it, I felt like I was a little bit too old already.
Okay.
Like now the sport is evolving so much, the level is so high, the kids are already reaching the competition level really early.
Yeah.
And then when they get 18, 19, they're already like right there.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have the lifestyle of a younger person with less responsibilities. Like I got married, like, so I had to adjust my life and make money. So that was my concern. I needed to make money in order to like have a life and be able to train and compete. So I couldn't really like do both. So I decided to adjust my goals, my expectations with that. But I definitely had a lot of experience training with competitors, high-level competitors. I visited like Atos. I got my black belt from AOJ. I was training there. I did like a search according as my goals were changing. I was changing schools.
Okay.
I wanted to be in the right place according to the goal that I had.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
To like push me to those like levels. And I'm happy with what I did. And now I have the experience, like you said. If we have someone that wants to be a competitor, we will be able to provide that level of guidance for the person to get there.
Nice.
We might not have the human material yet, but we have the coaching and the mindset. Like I know how to take someone close to that place, you know.
Nice. So you actively looked for the schools that were providing the environment that you needed at that moment.
Exactly. At some point, I was training at Gracie Barra Northridge with like Romulo Barral.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was getting tough because I had a lot of tough rounds, like just sparring hard. And then I felt like I wasn't as technical as I wanted to be or as I needed to be. So I was like, okay, let me go to a different school.
Yeah.
Because that's my vision too. Jiu-jitsu is a service. Right? I don't need to be loyal to one place. right? If I have a different goal, I go to the place that is going to help me achieve that goal. So that has been my mindset from the beginning. So I was fine with switching schools.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be more technical. So I looked for Cobrinha first. Personally, I didn't have a good experience there. So when I visited AOJ, I was like, okay, this is the place. Everybody that's super technical, super focused, like good mindset for
Never heard of
everything.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, so there I was able to like reach the level of technicality that I was trying to get.
Nice.
I just wasn't able to achieve the competition goals that I had because this mindset thing, I was never a really good competitor. But I train really well. I love training hard, like I would compete, but then I don't like competing anymore. But I did compete a lot. Like I did many tournaments.
Nice.
And yeah, so I was able to get the experience of training and talking to all these people that are there, they are competing, they are achieving those goals, they are guiding people that achieve those goals. So it was really nice journey so far.
Nice. It's a very progressive approach
Yes.
to jiu-jitsu.
You definitely got technical. For those of us that have had the pleasure of rolling with you, it's a technical round, no doubt.
Good thinking.
So you said I was going to get two different answers. Now I'm curious. For you, what's your experience?
I'm the loyal one. I've only I am. I've only trained under Mark Bradford, which is under Alberto.
Right.
So I've cross-trained, like to go to AOJ. I didn't go that many times. I went once or twice, right? But I was always trying to. My thing is like I never needed to go anywhere because I have this guy, that's doing all the techniques, and he's just like, oh, you should do it like that. Perfect. I don't even need to go there. So I always find the techniques that I needed from him.
Okay.
So he was doing the work for me basically, and but I've always it's different because he was competing at adults. I was competing at masters. I started when I was 30, so I don't need the same level of jiu-jitsu, especially white, blue, and purple belt.
Yeah.
But then the rounds and the opponents become like stronger and stuff like that. But I've never needed like to go like to those top school like to find what I needed. I could find like anybody within our legacy family to find the right partners and find the right answers. And I didn't need to go as hard as him, because he was fighting adults and I was fighting masters. It's not the same level of competition.
Of course.
Except now at black belts, you get all these world champions,
Yep.
So it's for sure gonna get difficult when I start to compete again. I'm trying, but injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've always stayed within my community of legacy to train and stuff like that. And the work can be done. It's just people just need to stop lying to themselves when they're training, and they need to put the right amount of work to compete.
Yeah.
And that's my whole thing on it. Right now I'm nowhere near ready because I'm not training. We're building this business and we're teaching, and my opinion on competing is like, if you want to compete, you have to go like balls to the walls, 100%. If you want to, remove the doubt of losing, and and you need to be ready for every single situation, impose your will, and that takes a lot of work on the mat to be able to achieve that. I don't think I would like to compete like right now, just because I wouldn't give my best to have, if I lose, I don't care, right? But I know in my mind I would have given my best to compete, and I gave myself the best chance to compete. If I would go right now and compete, I would be like, oh, why did I compete? I was nowhere near ready. I give all my excuses. I'm trying to get all the excuses out of my way to get to competition. So I'm really committed to when I compete, or when I will compete, I will be really committed to my training and my diet and then it's very important to be 100%. That's what I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mindset, right? That's different than just casual hobbyist.
Yeah, it's definitely for me, it's something different. A lot of people, I don't tell people don't compete. If I'm you can try, but I want you to give your best. I want you to be healthy. I want you to have a good diet. I just don't want you to train twice a week and then you gonna go compete.
Yeah.
They're most likely gonna get murdered. And I want them to be ready. And it happened to you 2 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago you were about to compete. You were not ready. You didn't go, right?
I didn't.
You know, like especially at black belt, you weren't gonna get like
Don't be
smushed.
someone else's easy round.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my mentality too. Like, I don't just want to be a body for somebody to like body, right? But at black belt, like you guys, you might, especially masters, like you might just show up and then you have like Bruno Malfacini.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, his division is crazy.
next level stuff.
Yeah,
So.
my division. I mean, I think the world champ in my division is Josh Hinger. So.
Oh, really?
That's no fun.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like,
for real.
I mean, it would be great to try. You know, like.
Of course.
We were making fun with Marco the other day. It's like, oh, if you do Masters World, like maybe Buchecha, and you're gonna fight him. And we were like, holy shit! Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you find Buchecha? I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, at least you get a chance to say that. Hey, I fought this guy. You know?
Yeah.
Because like you don't get a chance to
You
say
had
that.
you had a bunch
I
of.
fought a bunch of people there.
Yeah, you fought. Who did you fight?
Cade Rotolo, Andy
Nice.
Murazaki, Jonathan Alves.
At brown belt, you fought Cade, right?
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that video on YouTube. Yeah. That was nice, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
There you go.
One of the goals that I had cross training too, because as I was going through all these places, I was always also working at Legacy. So I was teaching there, training there. So I wanted to go there, improve, and bring all those techniques, all that mindset back to Legacy to share with my friends.
Nice. Yeah.
So that also helped me be a better teacher, which is what I am today and what I love to do. So since I'm like a blue belt, when I started training with him and Mark, Mark gave me the opportunity to start teaching.
Nice.
And I had no experience. I barely spoke any English.
Yeah.
So that was tough, right? And since I had that opportunity, I'm like, I kind of like doing that. So having all the experience going around cross training, training everywhere, talking to like Guy Mendes, talking to like Rafa, to all those coaches, I was able to get that idea, like, and see what they do and how they think.
Nice.
And that definitely influenced me to be a better coach.
Yeah. That's actually a really good segue to another question I have for you guys, which is like, how is it two opposite sides of the spectrum, competitor mindset and coach mindset, or do they share similarities? Like, how do you approach coaching as opposed to when you approach competition?
Personally, I go with the person's reason to do jiu-jitsu. What is your goal?
Right.
Like, are you doing jiu-jitsu because eventually you want to compete? Are you doing jiu-jitsu just because you're interested in it? So I kind of tailor my class and my coaching to the individual like goal of the student.
Nice.
So I've been working a lot on learning the self-defense part of it to be able to teach more to kids that are suffering bullying, to women, to older people. So that's been my goal. Like, been studying a lot of that aspect of the game.
Nice.
Because, for example, Spider Guard, like, older people are not going to be able to do it, or they're not really interested to do it. So I want to be able to teach jiu-jitsu to anyone, literally anyone. That's my goal right now.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm working towards that. And it's definitely different. Like, if you want to compete and if you want to just coach, it's different. A lot of competitors never become good coaches. You know, you got to change your mindset, adjust a couple things, being able to empathize with the person, like, to guide your athlete properly. So it's definitely different, definitely.
What about you? What's your take on coaching?
We pretty much agree on that. You know, like, he's more like, he likes to coach everybody and he's really good at it. He teaches little kids, old people. Like, he has how old is your oldest private?
My oldest is 63.
63 years old private, right? I'm more, as the opposite of him, I'm more interested in pushing like people into competing, right? I know what it takes for most people to do competition, and I'm personally more interested in that aspect. But I completely agree with what he says. You know, like, he likes to teach more people that are doing jiu-jitsu as a hobbyist in the future, because right now we just open and we only have beginners. But if people are interested, like, in doing tournaments and stuff, that's where I think I will come in. You will help me, of course, but like, I've been not only in jiu-jitsu, but I've been competing so much when I was a kid in tennis that I know what type of work needs to be done to get to you know, like to be a good competitor, you know, and it doesn't imply me being harsh on kids or, you know, like it's just like guiding them the right way for them to be a good competitor, you know, like, and yeah.
So you talked about competing, or we talked about coaching a little bit as well. But what is it about jiu-jitsu itself, like for you guys personally, individually, that like got you hooked? Like why did you go back to the second class, the third class, the fourth class? Even if you got a bad class, you go back for the next one. Like, what is it?
Truthfully, for me, the mat is my safe space. The mat is where I don't think about anything else but jiu-jitsu. You know, like it's something that is really truthful. There's no lies really on the mat. You know, it's you against someone else. He's trying to submit you, you trying to submit him. There's no time for thinking for anybody else. You know, I have a little bit of anxiety, like a lot of people. When I'm on the mat, I have zero anxiety. You know, like, and that's my safe space, and that's why I did it so much. And yeah, that's why I started jiu-jitsu. That's why I loved it, you know, like, and it's a physical sport, and, you know, like you're fighting, and then at the end, you know, like you're all friends, and, you know, like, and it's very respectful. And that's the major things why I liked it so much.
For me, it was just so stimulating mentally and physically, because I did Muay Thai for a long time. And when I actually started doing jiu-jitsu, I just kind of didn't want to train Muay Thai as much because it gets kind of boring. Just like 1, 2, there's elbows and stuff, but the combinations and getting better at it, just doing more of the same. Whereas jiu-jitsu is kind of like a universe. It's like answers for every little single thing, and that amazed me in the beginning. And just having people that are better than me in something that I like bothered me in that beginning. So I'm like, I want to be better than this guy. And then it just became like a more like, personal thing. Where
so it's ego. A little bit of ego there.
It eventually became a personal thing where it's like, I love it and I want to be as good as I can this. And that's how my mindset worked from almost from the very beginning. Because at first it was just something cool and fun, more fun than Muay Thai. So I did the switch, and I just started like getting, I need to get good at it. And now my mindset is like, I need to make other people good at it. So it transferred as we evolve with.
It's never ending, right? Like it just keeps going like in every single direction. Before we get into talking about the school, tell me a little bit about like how it, because you both recently graduated to black belt. Like it hasn't been that long, right? It's been about 2 years, maybe 3 years.
A year and a half.
It was March 2024.
So 1 year. Me, it's I got it the December before that.
To December 1st.
Yeah,
So
December 23.
Tell me a little bit about like your experience. I know we got the video on YouTube, right? And you talked about it a little bit with Alberto. But was that just like the natural progression, and you like the next day you're like, okay, here we go again? Like,
so the funny thing, I've been thinking of doing a gym since I'm a blue belt.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this since I'm a blue belt. You know, like because like him, I love to share the knowledge of jiu-jitsu. I like when somebody looks at me and is like looks at me like I'm some sort of genius, you know, like, oh, you can do that, and their eyes lit up, and they're like, oh, it's so cool, so cool. So I like sharing the knowledge, and I really like teaching. And I don't know where I was going with that.
And the lifestyle too.
The lifestyle, yeah, the lifestyle, yeah,
lifestyle.
the jiu-jitsu lifestyle is pretty cool. We come here and we just train and we, you know, like teach jiu-jitsu, and it's not like some desk job that is like annoying. There's some part in it too, you know, like where we have to sit at the computers and the emails and do that stuff. But like, I'd rather do that for something that I really enjoy, which is jiu-jitsu. So, back to the point. I remember now. So I was thinking it since blue belts, and I was actually. So I got to purple, I got to brown, and we really started looking when I was a brown belt. And we were looking in Malibu because there was no competition whatsoever. And I thought like surf and jiu-jitsu was an amazing idea. You know, like in San Diego, they have a bunch of gyms with surfing like culture and jiu-jitsu, and Malibu didn't have one. And I started looking around brown belt, and actually I wasn't looking at this spot in particular. There was another spot behind that I was looking at, but it's Malibu. It was so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
And so I kind of gave up on the idea for a little bit. And, you know, like I was going to pull the trigger, but we didn't do it because it was expensive and they wouldn't let us do like the type of work we want to do in the space. So we kind of gave up the idea for a little bit. And right before I got my black belt, they said, oh, we're willing to cut, you know, like to cut you a deal for this spot.
Okay.
So I came to visit it, and it was like, oh, that's doable. And we looked a little bit around, and it was like, oh, that's like definitely doable. And that was a process of, it took a long time to set up a deal with them. And once I got my black belt, and we went back and forth for like 6 months, you know, like for the contract and stuff for the space. And I finally got the keys in September. And during that process, I talked to Vitor, do you want to do this? You do it with me, we're partners, and we figure it out. And, you know, like, and he said like, yeah, I'm down. And, you know, like, that's how it started basically. Yeah, nice. Right? And since September, so I had the keys in September, and that's how long it took us to open. Like from September to January, we installed the mat, we installed like you can't see it right now, but I mean, you can, but we installed like everything nice and correctly. And we only had power, you know, like, cause the city is a little bit painful. The community here is great, right? People are amazing. They're welcoming. And, you know, like we only have like good returns from all the people around here, but the city, it takes forever in Malibu. And we just got the power in this place. Like what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we had lights and power, internet, and we were like running this gym in the beginning with a generator, 2 lights, the phone for internet. Yeah. But my phone doesn't have reception, so I had to get a T-Mobile phone to have reception. It was a whole thing. So at night, I had to take the generator back home to charge it, the computer, everything. So every night, generator, computer, iPads, bring it back home, bring it here in the morning. And like since 2 weeks ago, I can finally leave everything like here. And it's, you know, now I can focus on teaching and like, you know, like people and stuff like that. But the beginning was rough. Yeah. The beginning was rough.
It's part of it, man. Like, it's nice. It's been a good journey. And we have some students that have been with us from the very beginning. Nice. And they see the whole progress. It's nice building up a little history. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely. It's a beautiful space. Like, we're going to see in the walkthrough, like, just, you know, those of you that want to watch the follow-up content with Professor Vitor teaching and tour the facility and stuff. It's absolutely beautiful, and like the fresh ocean air coming in, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's the best part. And
you can see the ocean from
exactly. Yeah, we can. Yeah, but and plus we didn't even talk about it, but the fires. Yeah, like people lost their homes, and like the biggest joke of all is like it started raining, like, and then like it blocked the roads and like
landslides and stuff.
The landslides, and it was a rough beginning, but I think we did good for, you know, like all the circumstances.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty happy. And the gym is not even finished 100% yet.
So you guys are the newest, I think, addition to the Legacy family, maybe. I don't know if...
San Diego,
you're right, Professor Edson. We're coming to check you out for sure.
San Diego.
Okay, the second newest. Yeah. But you already have a kids program, right? Talk to me a little bit about like your philosophy around kids and, you know, how important kids are to the foundation of a school.
Yeah. Well, in our community, they have a lot of families, and the families have multiple kids. So it's very exciting to work with them. My approach to kids is that first I want them to have fun with jiu-jitsu. Like no pressure, no like, competition, no like, oh, you gotta like drill sergeant kind of thing. I'm not like that. I want to be like, I want to make them keep doing jiu-jitsu for the rest of their lives. So in the beginning, it's to be fun. And then when they have more like motor skills and they understand the game a little bit, we can start introducing more like sport style techniques. And to me, the main thing is they are able to defend themselves against some other kid that just try to mess with them.
Yeah.
And when they come here, they have fun. They also learn the discipline. It's like, okay, there's a class structure. We warm up, we have fun, we learn the technique, then it's time to lock in, pay attention, and then work hard. You can ask questions. And then after the class, we do like specific training, a little bit of sparring, and then we have fun, right? So if they behave, they learn that, okay, when I behave, the class is nice, the class is fun, and the class is smooth. I always remind them, and they work through the stripes and everything. So my goal with a little kid is have them do jiu-jitsu forever, right? Even if they, for example, maybe they don't like jiu-jitsu here, but they do jiu-jitsu somewhere else, to me is a win, because there's some other person doing jiu-jitsu in the world, you know?
Yeah.
The more people do jiu-jitsu, the best it is for everybody.
Nice.
So that's how I think.
Yeah. And so we've got the other side of the coin, the drill sergeant. Am I getting that right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with what he's saying. You know, we're not trying to push competition or anything, but when it comes to competing, like if you want to compete, you got to put in the work. Yeah. That's basically what I have to say about that. So I'm a little rough on my brother that trains here, like, cause he's goofing around. Oh, I'm with my brother. I'm with Professor Vitor, and he's just like fooling around and stuff. And I'm just yelling. I'm not yelling, but like I'm like.
For the record, your brother's 9, right?
Yeah,
my brother's
9 years.
You're not like some 18-year-old.
No. He's 9 years old. Yeah. But the other day you went a little drill sergeant on him. You made him do 100 arm bars.
100. Yeah. Okay.
He was goofing around.
Goofing around too much. Man. Like when I have a kid, like his mom told me, like, I want him to be good at jiu-jitsu. And he's been training since his 4, right? So, bro, I keep telling him, like, bro, you've been training jiu-jitsu almost as long as me. Like, come on, you gotta know how to do an arm bar. So he was like, hey, he's like this and kind of laughing.
He's goofing around. He's having fun. That's the problem. He's having too much fun.
Too much fun. That is such a thing as too much fun.
100%.
You gotta lock in sometimes, like, okay, the mindset that I had when I started, I was like, okay, I need to get good at this.
Yeah.
So how do I get good at this? I have someone dedicating their time and attention to me. I got to make that worth, right?
Yeah.
So that's the mindset that I try to instill in the kids.
Nice.
Like, okay, we're here for you. So the day has 24 hours. You're here for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So lock in, bro. Like, give your best, right? Yeah. So this way, it's like one of the first lessons in life, right? Like, dedicate yourself, apply yourself on something that you like, and then you can use this concept on everything, and then life works.
That's awesome. Yeah. And there's that you just reminded me of an episode like of the Joe Rogan podcast, like way in back when it was almost only just jiu-jitsu that he was talking about. I think it was Cron Gracie that was on there, and he's talking about how he didn't really he goofed around a little bit. He preferred skateboarding, and then his brother, rest in peace, told him, like, are you crazy, man? You know who your dad is? Like, you have an opportunity that like almost nobody has. Like, you should take this seriously. Yeah. So that's a similar, approach, but a very mature mindset for you to have as a kid. Me, I was not that mature as a kid. But either way, jiu-jitsu does, right? I think you'll agree, like, provide some
structure.
Structure. Thank you. That's exactly the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So since we're talking about the school, you guys opened. You got the keys in September.
Yeah.
You opened in January.
We pre-opened before that, like just to introduce jiu-jitsu to the community.
Nice.
We just had the mat, and we were just like, for kids, we're gonna offer like free classes for everybody, right? So we did some open mats for the adults, and we were doing like Tuesdays and Thursdays. At 4:00, we were offering free classes for kids.
Nice.
So, and that was we started that in
September.
No,
and now all the way to January.
October, November. because like I had time like to put the mats on.
Okay,
and,
we
like,
put the mats in October. Yeah.
I can check, but yeah, I think we started doing that in November, like free classes for everybody, and that brought us like a good amount of kids, and they're still with us to this day. So we might do something right, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, we started doing this since November, free classes, and we pre-opened January 6th, fire January 7th. That was great. So it was actually a horrible day because we had the inspector from the city coming on January 7th, and like our phone started ringing like crazy.
Yeah.
With the inspector here, and it was like, what's going on? I pick up, like, there's fire. I was like, you need to get out of here. I was like, where? I just went through there. There was nothing this morning.
Yeah.
And then we saw like a little bit of smoke, and so we went like the other way around. We went all the way to like Ventura, and we went all the way around like to go
Like
back home.
Oxnard,
Yeah.
And so we closed for 2 weeks, and we reopened end of January, and we've been open since, right? Like nonstop, no.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how it went, you know.
I think everybody was thinking about this place, you know, at least in the Legacy family when like the fire started, because you know you're hearing about
Well,
like Palisades is not very far, right? And
so the fire went like from the Palisades 20 miles in into the coast. There was like another 15 miles to us,
Yeah.
you know, because the fire like stopped at the lagoon,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like another 15. I could have come here like pretty fast.
for sure. Yeah.
And because in one day it went like 20 miles, like in another day I could have done another 15. So we were kind of worried,
Yeah.
but like I was kind of reassured when I saw like for like 3 weeks there was an army of firefighters, like God bless them.
Yeah.
There was like probably like how many 2,000 firefighters parked on all of Zuma.
Wow.
They had like tents. They had like a movie seat, like a kind of theater where they can relax, watch movies, like bathrooms. They had like huge camp of all the fire departments coming from all over. There's guys coming in here like, oh, we're from I don't remember, but like Missouri, we're from like there. No,
Oh,
not
really?
not
Like
Missouri. Colorado.
yeah,
Missouri is a little far.
Yeah.
But yeah, Colorado and like Vegas and like Mexico, there was like a ton of firefighters. So during that time, we offered like a month free for all like personnel if they wanted to train, and
Yeah.
you know, like and everybody offered like free food, and it was you know like it's great to see this because everybody comes strong together, you know, like, and it's like everybody stopped thinking about like real life, you know, like all the bullshit from, you know, like every day, and like when there's something happening, everybody stands together. You guys like did also, I mean, like a great job. You did like a whole event, like bringing clothes to everybody, and it was, you know, like people can come together, you know, like, and I think jiu-jitsu can bring people together.
Well, if we're talking about like jiu-jitsu nowadays, right? It's evolved probably 2 or 3 times since you've started into something slightly more, right?
Yeah, more.
Like it's exploded, more people are training, and a bigger focus on maybe new techniques as well. Like what's one thing for each of you that is like just you love it, like something that wasn't maybe there when you started, but that's recent, like a trend that's really popular that you love in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? It could be competition or teaching, self-defense, whatever. Ariel.
Go for it.
To me, it's like the one aspect that I really like of the game is the guard passing. So as the guards evolve, the guard passing needs to evolve. Like, because just the basic ones don't really cut it.
Yeah.
Because people have answers for that. So you gotta adapt. So I'm a huge fan of the guard passing aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Really like that. That really amazes me how like Toreando into like leg trap and leg trap, knee cut, everything is really cool. Yeah.
Ariel.
But you're a better guard player. That's the weird part.
According to you, according to myself, I'm a better guard passer.
He doesn't like that I say that. I think your guard is amazing because you're, you know, but you know, you like to pass guard. I mean, it's weird because I feel like I like guard better, but I feel like I'm a better guard passer. You know what I mean? Like I like guard, I like pulling guard, but like I don't know. I like both actually. I love jiu-jitsu. I like passing. I like sweeping. I like everything about jiu-jitsu.
So if there's one trend that like you're really into,
Right now, one trend that I'm really into, I don't know. You know, like we had that seminar. You know what I like. You know, like that seminar from
Leo Vera.
Leo Vieira.
oh okay,
You know, and the
I
shin
wasn't
pin
there for
pass.
that one, no.
I do it to you all the time, though. You know, like
The shin pin, yeah.
You know, and I've been stuck to that like a little bit, but now I'm a little bit getting away from it. I think like jiu-jitsu goes with trends, you know, like, and the trends come from like the highest tournaments level of tournaments, you know, like at Worlds, you can see it like every year, you know, like, what was the trend this year at like a lot of lasso, right?
That was the trend of the berimbolo. Everybody started
man,
doing
that was
berimbolo.
huge, yeah.
Yes, and then that was the trend of footlocks, heel hooks,
Oh,
and
yeah, a lot of
stuff.
footlocks.
Everyone wants to learn like that honey hole and stuff like that. Now, maybe it's just when you go to competition, the games are a little bit different. The clash, like not everyone can play their game like they desire.
Yeah.
Then we end up like doing a lot of lasso, and then that's what I'm saying. The guard passing.
Yeah.
Because then the guard passer needs to be able to shut down the lasso and going around, and there's a lot of science. That part amazes me, the guard passing, like how to disengage and deny all the connections. That's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, last year was a lot of footlocks because they changed that reaping rule, you know, where you could I mean, you couldn't reap with the foot, but you know, like you're supposed to never go like belly down, like on the inside on the footlock.
Yeah, turning inside.
And last year, I think you could like turn belly down like on the inside, you know, like usually you have to stay on the outside. Now you could turn on the inside. Like that's how Batista submitted
yes.
Jensen Gomez, right? He went on the inside and like, so yeah, I think the trends come from like the highest level of competition, you know, like, and then it will switch to something completely different because they all have to learn how to beat those games, you know, how to beat the lasso game. And then it goes into more like a passing style. And then they're like, oh, they're all doing this. We have to do something else. And, you know, like, and it refreshes all the time. And it goes back to an old game. And then it goes back to a new game and back and forth. It's like fashion a little bit, you know, like, I mean, it's not like fashion, but like, you know, like.
I'm looking forward when everybody starts doing closed guard.
No, that shit is boring, man. I hate
It's
closed
boring.
guard.
It's like it's the best. I like
Give me
close
some
guard.
open guard, you know. But anyways, doesn't.
Yeah, but close guard is so effective. Close guard is so
You see,
effective.
like everybody was doing the La Hiva to berimbolo, and now everybody shuts down the La Hiva immediately. No one can just play the La Hiva in control. Now they need to switch to X, single leg X. You see? So very interesting how everything keeps developing and improving.
I like that there's a dynamic here where like you both complement each other very well.
Exactly.
Like there's some areas that maybe you're have a more strong opinion, and then other areas where you have a strong opinion, and then they kind of balance each other out.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think we agree on mostly everything at the end of the day. You know, he's the yang, I'm the yin. You know, like or vice versa. You know, like it's.
Yeah, pretty cool. It works pretty well.
It works great.
Yeah. So who, if there's anybody that you follow right now, like on the competition scene, or that you like, or that their game is like, man, that's my ideal game. Like, is there somebody like that for you guys?
Is that to you?
I mean, I watch like all the Worlds, all Pans. I try to watch everything. And I don't know, who do I really like right now? I've always liked Mikey's guard.
Mikey Musumeci?
Yeah, I've always liked his guard. He's like just ridiculous. I like the pace and the intensity of Cade Rutolo. He's like just insane on the feet everywhere. You know, like and it's like a fresh new jiu-jitsu. You know, like they're doing stuff like that takes years to learn, because like to do something good, you have to learn all the rules before you break them. And they break every standard like rules of jiu-jitsu to get into crazy positions and like crazy submissions. They give ankle locks to be able to counter with heel hooks, and this is like years and years and years of training. And they're, you know, it's good to watch like those kids like competing at the highest level. They do like crazy stuff. Who else do I like?
Any of the big guys?
Big guy. I
Like
don't know. I'm a
size-wise,
big guy who likes like to watch like small guys.
Oh,
you know?
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I like the game. You know, like bigger guys. I mean, I say that, but right now, like, there's some big guys. They're doing like bolos and stuff. I'm like, oh, my God, like, how are you doing that? You know, and jiu-jitsu is evolving into. I mean, in my opinion, is evolving into like more technical jiu-jitsu. Big guys. Who do I like in big guys? I don't know. You know, big guys. It's like Nogi. It's been all about Gordon Ryan and it's
Nicky Rod and-
Nicky Rod controlling the scene, and you know, I like Pena actually a lot. You know, like he's really technical and he knows how to win. It's interesting. I don't know. I've been focused so much on the business that, you know, like I'm not really, no, it's true. Like
Yeah,
it's hard to
100%.
follow like
course.
I watch everything, but like I'm not like, I mean, Tynan is amazing. You know, like I think Zach is amazing coming up like big time. Who else do I like game wise? I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much, you know, like,
That's a
who'd
good
you
list.
like?
It's a healthy list. Yeah.
No, I know.
What about you? Who's,
I'm a huge fan of Rafael Mendes and Tynan Dalbrand.
Yoda of Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah,
he's
'cause-
doing stuff you can't even understand.
Like Rafa is just like a genius, bro. I feel like he sees jiu-jitsu like 4 dimensions. Like you can't even. Yeah, it's hard to copy. Like I watch him and I get some ideas. That's pretty cool.
Just the ideas, though.
Yeah, just the ideas. And Tynan, man, like I'm just a huge fan of him as a person too. He came from Brazil, like 14 years old. He already had the mindset of like locking in. That's what I want to do in my life, and that's what I'm gonna do every single day to get to the point that I want to get.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of that mindset, especially as a young person.
Yeah, you-
And being around him and taking classes from him too, it was amazing. And it helped so much with my game, the guard passing. Maybe I like so much guard passing because of him.
Nice.
And
It's not as good, though.
I mean, that's top notch.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, these 2 guys, like their jiu-jitsu is just so technical and beautiful.
Yeah.
They make it look easy
Yeah.
in the highest level, which is crazy to me.
It's hard to disagree
yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about the way that they flow between positions. It doesn't. They never get stuck. You know. Like sometimes I feel like I'm just a regular guy, but I feel like my brain just like skips a beat, you know, and then I get stuck somewhere, or maybe I don't have an answer for something. But they are like completely well-rounded in like all positions. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Yeah, the first time it clicked with me when I saw something like so much connection between the moves is when you fought like Jonathan Alves at Blue Belt, right? He went from like 5 different moves in 5 seconds. Like, what was the position? Like single leg X, back to back take, back to the ankle, back like.
I didn't
succession.
never. Yeah, when I fought Jonathan, I didn't ever have that jiu-jitsu knowledge yet.
Yeah.
He was doing like everything was flowing so well for him. I was always in danger. I was still fighting and getting out, but
It was a great fight.
from one bad position to another bad position to another bad position till he finally got me. But
Yeah,
it was good.
He
It
got
was
you,
good.
but yeah, you ended in a 50-50 ankle lock where you both like grimacing, like ankle lock, but yeah.
Nah, he just had it better. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was grimacing too.
yeah. It
But like
it
that was a long time ago.
Good times, good times.
Yeah. that's
You
awesome.
swept him.
And we have it on video too, right?
Do we?
Probably.
I think we do.
I can't find it. But like, yeah,
But
it doesn't matter.
yeah, it does not matter.
So we talked about a little bit about getting older, right? And then like also having like different priorities in jiu-jitsu. Like somebody might have, you know, multiple jobs or multiple kids, maybe both. And they come here, they want to have fun versus somebody who might be interested in competing. But for the slightly older crowd that's like probably in their 30s going to 40s, like what's your advice to like stay healthy and be able to train as much as possible? Like is it flexibility, is it nutrition, is it a bit of both, is it balance? Like what's your advice if you had to give like one piece of advice to somebody to help them train until they're like 63, 64, etc.?
Get some good rest, you know, like don't overdo it, you know, like and you know, like don't try to push it too hard. And that's what we're doing here a little bit too. You know, like we're trying to preserve like people from going too hard,
Yeah.
and you know, like trying to teach them the technique and try to do it as flowy as possible. Because you know how it is. You know, like you're a white belt, you start, you want, you know, like doesn't matter what age you are. You know, like I want to sweep you, and you use all that strength and like it damages your body. You know, like using that strength and forcing, and you know, like. And I think jiu-jitsu needs to be taught like with technique, and like if they want to compete later, that's when, you know, like we will go harder. But like to start, I think like going nice and easy to learn the technique is really important. As far as diet, you know, like you need to eat healthy, you know, like avoid sugar, alcohol, and all that stuff. You know, everything is about balance. You know, like don't drink too much. You can have fun, but like don't overdo it. It's you know, I've done all the wrong things to know like, you know, like it's not worth it. You know, like if you can have fun a little bit here and there, but like don't overdo it.
Yeah.
And diet, don't do his diet. I'm joking. He's a carnivore.
What I was gonna say, what's the diet?
I did carnivore diet before it was cool.
Oh yeah.
Now it's kind of cool, but I'm not like fully carnivore anymore. But I still like to eat in a way that people kind of like, I don't know
just
about it.
meat and dairy?
Yeah,
Or?
like 90% of what I eat is animal products.
You drink sour cream.
Yeah, not sour cream. It's like heavy whipping cream.
Right.
Yeah, I drink that.
3.25, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Whole
So
milk or whatever.
people think that's really weird,
It's,
but it's delicious, bro. Yeah. So to me, as like for an older person to do it, it's just basically like take care of your body, like exercise, just regular exercise. I wouldn't count jiu-jitsu as just exercise. I wouldn't do just jiu-jitsu because jiu-jitsu puts our body in a lot of positions where our body is like, yo, I don't like this. So basically regular exercise, like maybe run, maybe surf, like something like that. And like healthy diet. That's more outside of jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, I try to provide the environment for people to have that kind of goal, right? To be able to train safely for as long as they want. And I believe that for that, you got to learn how to pick your partners properly, right? I'm not obligated to roll with every single person in class. And if someone wants to train with me, I'm not obligated. I can't say no. And that's what I tell every single person, especially women. Sometimes like man calls them and they feel obligated to roll. I always tell like, you can say no, right? If a smaller person, right, a smaller man, I'm 170, so I'm right in between. So sometimes when I feel like I go and challenge myself with someone bigger, but I always like keeping myself safe, right?
Yeah.
When I feel like someone too crazy, then I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling it. I give that like, not right now.
But we're trying to build like people. I mean, we're trying to build like students that can roll everybody with each other. We know, you know, like there's always one guy like, oh, I don't want to roll with him. He goes too hard. Oh, he's like too big. And I can understand, but we're trying to build students that are enjoyable to roll with everybody.
Exactly.
You know, we're trying to make it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, like if they go too hard, we're always like, calm down, you know, like relax, just do the technique. You won't be able to do that technique like using like full strength, you know, like learn it how to do it like nice and slowly increase the strength. And then, you know, like maybe add a little bit more strength. And if you resist, like try to switch techniques, but like try to do it nice. Cause like if you can't do it like, if you have to do it with strength, it's not going to work. You know, like if somebody on top of you is using as much strength, you know, like you have to find the timing, and you know, like being like Sébastien like never really works. And on top of it, that's how you get injured. You know, like two spaz like going at it, like oh, oops, my knee.
Yeah.
You know?
We're trying, like, since we're starting from scratch, it's a really good opportunity to raise good partners. You know, because we have people here that are 200 pounds and they train really well. So like when I always stress, like, yo, you're going too hard, like breathe, take a break. And then sometimes when they go too hard, and I take them aside like, hey, bro, like that guy's a little bit older than you. Just take a little bit easier, you know? You don't need to go like that. So bringing that mindset, because I'm like that. A lot of women like to train with me because usually men, they either go too hard with women or too easy.
Yeah.
There's like in between when it's fun, engaging for both of you.
Technical.
So I'm trying to bring people up like that, where they can train with anyone and it still be enjoyable. You know?
Nice.
So
Yeah,
that's what I believe. This way, everybody can train to like 70, like Helio and all the guys who 70, like 80 years old on the mat training, able to train with everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said about being a good partner, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You're a great one.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I try.
Do you have another dollar? Don't joke.
There's like, you know, we've all had that person that is like not interested in letting us practice the technique that we're supposed to be practicing, and it's like, no, like, you know, relax your body a little bit, and it's not gonna hurt. Like, we're just gonna do this balloon sweep, and it's okay, you know.
It's okay. Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's okay to tap, right?
Yeah.
Tap often,
Yeah,
tap
yeah,
early,
there we go.
right? You can always, like, that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu. We can go 100% without hurting each other. That's the tapping. Like, if you got the submission, it's like, maybe I'm too hurt. There's no reason for me to, like, have my arm fully extended and not wanting to tap. I'm not gonna gain anything.
Yeah.
So I tap, we start again. It's completely fine. So it's something that too is still in the minds of the white belts, everybody out there.
We're trying to build everybody to trust each other.
Yeah.
You know, like in a role, I could trust you 100%. You know, that's why we go. When we go, I haven't gone in a while, right? But like when we go pretty crazy and it's fun, right? And everybody can have the same fun if they're starting trusting each other. But you build trust by being a good partner, not being too spazzy, and you have fun, you know? Like when I roll with you, I trust you, you know, like you're not gonna hurt me, so we can go a little harder, and you know, like, oh, if I have an arm bar, I'm not gonna like yank it out, and you know, like it's respect in a sense, you know, respect and trust within the role.
For sure, yeah.
And you know, like, and that's what we're trying to do here also, you know.
In the training room, we got nothing to prove to anyone. So just be chill, bro.
Yeah.
Be chill.
We should end it just like that.
Be chill, man.
But it's true that you want to know that you got the technique using technique, right?
Exactly.
That way, if ever you do need to use the technique with some strength, it's there for you. You have the technique.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes though, like, I almost feel bad for somebody who's like, you know, much bigger and stronger, because I remember I would get excited and maybe use too much strength. But the consequences of me doing that is not that bad. Right?
Yeah.
Like, again, like 165 pounds, maybe 170. But somebody who also gets excited, but maybe they're 280 or 300 pounds, then and the other person is much lighter, then the consequences are much worse, you know? So it's like, I got that chance to maybe make a few more mistakes. But it sounds like you guys are really building it from the ground up. Which is
Yeah.
cool. And we were chatting before, you shared that you have a number of people that have started with like zero experience in jiu-jitsu.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them.
That's
so
cool.
it's great to see where it's gonna go, right? But we see like a ton of improvements already. You know, like we had like this guy Joel. He's like doing really good. Like Joey's really. You know, we have a bunch of. Actually, they're all doing pretty good, right? And back to, I think they're building trust with each other's.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you know.
I guess we're gonna have to come back in like 3 years or 2 years, whatever, you know what I mean?
And see the progress
army of blue belts and maybe some purple belts or whatever, you know. Move.
Move now. I don't know. Purple belt takes a long time.
It takes time, yeah.
Purple belt is, if you make it to purple belt, you'll make it to black belt most likely.
Yeah. Nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as getting in touch with you guys and getting, you know, to do classes here, like, give me the details, like what's your address, the website, any instructionals, you know, things that you guys have got going on that people can get in touch.
I don't even know.
Yeah. We got no instructionals, but like private classes, you can ask, like everyone that has taken a private class with me. Like I do my best, like I said, according to their goals. Like we go over something they want to learn. We have a lot of people here that like nothing. They don't even know what they're trying to learn. So I help them build from ground up too. And yeah, we're right here. Trancas Country Market, because you don't need to type the exact address. Trancas Country Market takes you straight to this mall.
Nice.
And then we're right next to Vintage Grocers. Everybody knows this Vintage
There you
Grocers
go.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
LegacyMalibu.com and
Legacy
Legacy Malibu on Instagram.
Yes.
Nice. I'm gonna put a little banner at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Awesome. You guys, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate
Thank you.
taking the time.
That was fun.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a beautiful spot. Like, just so amazing. Such good energy, and I'm excited to see it develop into the great school that it's gonna be for sure. So,
Thank you.
yeah, congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Respect.